Hi everyone, B here, writer, reader, and anime fan. I just realized I never talked about Fantasticland by Mike Bachoven. I had read this book a while ago. I think I actually read it in 2024, but it was in late 2024, so it's still super fresh in my mind. This was my first Audible book and really got me into reading audiobooks, and it's a great place to start if you haven't read audio yet. Definitely listen to this one in audio. Obviously, if you want to read the book version, go for it. But I'm just telling you, this is great for audio because there's two narrators in it, a man and a woman, and they both do a huge cast of voices just for the two of them, doing all these different characters, and it's just so well done. Fantastic Land takes place in an amusement park right after a huge hurricane just happened in the state. Fantasticland is basically like Disney World. It has tons of different parks with own types of attractions, characters. It has lots of places to eat, so it's basically a fictional version of Disney World. You think bad can happen here, but the park arranges voluntarily for workers can stay in bunkers underneath the park during the hurricane just to like as a security measure to make sure the park stays safe, that looters don't show up and steal stuff, like just so there are eyes on the park. So what could go wrong? The people at the park think, yeah, make a little extra money, all good. But the hurricane causes them to be stranded by the flooding, the storms, all the damage that it caused. And when the police and Coast Guard finally show up, they find heads impaled on spikes outside the park. They find dead bodies molded in to the cement around the park that have been there for a while. Just all this carnage and violence. It turns out the people in the park broke off into fractions and started fighting over the resources. So it becomes a true survival horror story. This isn't your typical one, though, and one of the reasons it works best on Audible is because it's told like a documentary. You hear from about a dozen characters, their point of view, first person. It's basically like they're talking to an interviewer, and they get into detail about what happened during their time after the hurricane, the kind of trauma they experienced how it affected them. And some of these characters you hear from more than once, and a couple of these characters are just downright terrifying. I think the main villain group is called the Pirates, and they're basically just trying to take over the whole park. They are very violent. The way they just lost themselves, their leader, and why he did what he did is just completely crazy. It's a really dark story, not too violent in terms of describing so much detail, but still, there was a lot of messed up stuff that happens here, and I almost believed that this was a nonfiction book for a second because the documentaries and these interviews are done so well and so informed. So yeah, in that sense, like, could this happen in real life? And it probably has. We've had lots of hurricanes, so who knows? Definitely a spooky read. Check it out, Fantasticland. Love you all.